Are you considering becoming a therapist? If so, please watch this video before committing to a time-consuming and very costly master's in mental health degree. In this video, I'm going to share my expertise as an ex-licensed counselor and a university professor in counseling degrees around the country to help you know the 3 critical things that I wish I would have knew back when I was making that decision. And I'm also going to share what I wish I would have done instead. My name is Dr. Ashley Ann. I'm the founder of the Gravity Point Institute. We help aspiring practitioners blend science and spirituality and run their own practice, skipping the master's degree without sacrificing quality. So here are the 3 things that I wish I would have known. And just a little backstory about me. When I started out, I was thinking that I wanted to become a therapist for one reason and one reason only. I wanted to run my own practice. That was it. There are a lot of things that you can do with a mental health degree and becoming a licensed therapist, like working in group practices and hospitals and working with veterans, working with kids. All of those things are super important. And if you want to do those things, a mental health degree is probably a good path for you. But if you just want to run your own practice like I did, there are some things that you should know about what it takes to get from where you are now to where you want to be running independently. Your own business, right? So the first thing that I wish I would have known is how long it was going to take me and how much money it was going to cost me to get my therapist degree, right? To get a master's in mental health and to become an independent licensed practitioner. So depending on whether you go part-time or full-time, from no degree to being an independent person who can run their own practice, it takes about 8 to 11 years. That's 4 years for a bachelor's, 2 to 5 years for getting your master's, depending on if you're going full time. Plus, during that 2 to 5 years, you're working most for not pay. Like you are working with clients in your practicum and internship, getting supervision for about 2 years. And then after that, you have to then graduate and get 2 more years of supervision. I didn't know that. Like I thought I was going to get my mental health degree and be like, okay, that's it. Now you can run your own practice. But that's not what happened. You have 2 extra years that you have to work in an entry level position, not making a ton of money, to be supervised so that then you can get enough supervised hours to submit those hours, sit for an exam, and then get your license to practice. And at that point, then you can run your own practice. However, even after spending 8 to 11 years getting trained, plus if we look at the money, it's about $100,000 to $350,000, depending on your path. After spending all that time and money, when I left, it was all programs do not teach you how to run your own business. They don't teach you how to market. They don't teach you how to be an administrator. They don't teach you how to create content. They don't teach you how to do your messaging. They don't teach you how to become specialized and special and to attract the clients that are meant for you. So even after that, if you're like me, you'll spend I spent $30,000, but you can spend a lot of money trying to get the business savviness that you need to actually build your own business. So that's the one thing that I wish I would have known as somebody who just wants to run her own practice. 8 to 11 years. In my case, it was $330,000. And I still didn't know how to run my own practice on the other side because nobody taught me how. So that's one thing that I wish I would have known. In a mental health degree, if you want to do something besides running your own practice, that might all be worth it. But for me, that was a lot of time and energy and money to not get the skills that I needed to then go launch my own practice and be out on my own. The second thing that I wish I would have known back when I was getting started is that, for better or for worse, and I really need to give them a lot of credit, a lot of therapy degree programs have little to no training on how to manage your burnout. So my story is that I was in my practicum and internship as I was getting my degree. I specialized in trauma and neuroscience, and I learned a lot of things that were not in the curriculum. Like none of it was in the curriculum. I taught a lot of it myself. And what happened is after I graduated, I stayed at that agency that I trained at. And everybody was like, well, she's a trauma therapist and she's like a specialist in neuroscience. Let me give her all our toughest clients that we haven't been able to move, even though, these people have 20, 30, in some cases 40 years of experience in the field. They were giving their toughest cases to me as a newbie because they knew I knew things that a lot of people didn't know, trauma and neuroscience together. So what happened is that I burnt out, and I burnt out badly. Within 6 months of having a full practice, I was sicker than I had ever been. I was incredibly depressed. I was dissociating, like losing kind of time and space while I was walking home in the middle of the street at night. I lost weight without trying. My skin was broken out. I tried mood managing medication, and none of it worked. Now, at the same time I was doing this, I was listening to all of my mentors. I was going to my own therapy. I was on the medication. I was doing all the self-care, taking bubble baths, journaling, meditating. I was going to yoga 4 to 5 times a week. I was very much taking care of myself, and none of it mattered. And it was really frustrating because I was like, well, I have now spent all this time and energy, and now I might have to quit my career because it's killing me. And I'm a pretty willful and stubborn person, so I decided that I was going to stop listening to everybody talk to me about self-care and do what I did best, look at the trauma research, look at neuroscience, and I had to teach myself about mirror neurons and how the process of identification happens in the body and how we kind of glom onto other people's emotions. Not in terms of how my yogi friends and my energetic friends talked about it, like white bubbles and energy, like that is really all good and wonderful. I mean, I have a selenite crystal right here, but I needed to understand the step-by-step science of why I was burning out, why I was so vicariously traumatized by my clients. So I had to figure that out myself. And that was really quite an adventure. Like, it took a lot of time and a lot of work, but eventually I mastered how to work with people without having it hurt me. But that was the other thing that I wish I would have known at the very beginning. I didn't realize that I was going to spend, 2 to 4 years getting trained by some of the best people in the field and still not know some of the basics of how I was going to survive a career and make it really one that had longevity and could last. The third thing that I wish I would have known back when I started and got a mental health degree is that a coaching certification would have gotten me to where I wanted to go much faster, much more easily, and without going into debt. And I know if you're thinking about becoming a licensed therapist, coaching is like this bad word. And you can see that. Like, go on Reddit and go to any therapist forum, and the therapists are really upset about life coaches and wellness coaches and what they're doing now, because a lot of life coaches and wellness coaches can market themselves as experts in mental health. Can they say they diagnose and treat? Absolutely not, because they don't diagnose and treat. But they can absolutely market themselves on experts in helping you optimize your stress response, or in helping you, avoid a divorce without any kind of degree. And counselors are really upset about that. And I totally get it. Like, I think part of it is that, mental health therapists resent the fact that they did 2 years of an advanced degree and then 2 years of clinical practice. And then now they have somebody who got certified in 6 months doing the same thing, like similar work. Like, that's infuriating. I totally get it. But once you get past that and you look at coaching nowadays, especially, it is turning into a very credible field. Coaching now has its own accreditation bodies looking at the programs and saying, hey, you need to have all of these benchmarks, and then we will accredit you, and then your students can sit for an exam, which is really interesting because that was kind of like the same thing happening in 2010 when I was getting a counseling degree. Like, the counseling field was just becoming accredited, just gaining that kind of credibility. And now I'm looking at coaching and being like, there's something there. The other thing about getting a coaching certification is a credible certification program will not only give you the skills you need to work with your clients, but it will also give you business training in how to market to your clients, how to create specialized programs for yourself. And in a lot of ways, because coaches don't have to worry about insurance or reimbursement, coaches can make a lot more money. I mean, there are some coaches that are making thousands and thousands of dollars an hour because they have become so specialized and so niche and so good at what they do that their rates go through the roof. So if you are at that crossroads of looking down the time-consuming and very costly degree to just run your own practice and you're looking for maybe a still highly credible pathway, but it's going to save you a lot of time and money and give you a lot more skills, please book a free strategy call with me and my team, because we'll help you make that decision. If I really believe that you are meant to be a licensed therapist, I will send you that way because I know what you can and can't do in that pathway. And if you are looking for coaching programs, we won't just talk about mine, we'll talk about other ones as well that might be a good fit for you. So if this resonates with you, please click the link in the description and sign up for a free strategy call today. I really hope this was helpful. Thank you for your time. I'll see you in the next video.